Hi everyone and welcome. Thank you for stopping by my YouTube channel today and for taking part in the YouTube video hop. There are several here on YouTube that are sharing some of their scrapbooking essentials with you, and thankfully I get to be included. I'm one of those on the hop, so I just wanted to welcome you and thank you for stopping by. And just to give you a little preface, I've got a few things here. I am going to be sharing some ideas for new, maybe people are just getting started, so some newer scrapbookers that maybe are just looking to get started, maybe you don't have a lot of supplies. And then I'm also going to be sharing some things for those of you that maybe have been doing it for a while and maybe are ready to kind of take on some other supplies. And this is just my personal some of my personal picks that I use all the time. Some of them you're going to see duplicated in other people's videos because a lot of times we use some of the same items, but there's probably some in the hop that you're going to find unique. So my goal was to just share a few things that I use with you today, and hopefully it's something you can pick up and use. If not, then hopefully you find something in here that's useful for you. But I want to go ahead and get started because I've got a few things I want to cover. The first things I want to talk about that some of us are going to be talking about is work surface. And everybody has a lot of different you know, setup in your, whether it's a kitchen table, some people have a scrapbook room, you may have you know, a lap desk you work on, whatever it is. It really doesn't matter as long as you have, you know, you have a space to do that. But for those of us, I just wanted to share what I do. Thankfully, I do have an actual room to myself where I can have my scrapbook room, and I have a work surface. I have a work desk that I actually purchased. It's actually a regular black desk. And what I want to show you, the first thing that I did as far as my work surface, is what I wanted to do, because it is a painted wood desk. It was brand new when I got it. I wanted to protect the surface, but I wanted to make it usable. I didn't want to have to worry about getting paint on it or anything. So what I did, I'm just going to pull back this mat that I have on it, is I actually had a piece of glass cut for it. And sorry, you can see the reflection of my light here. So I have my black desk, and then I have it's probably a quarter-inch thick maybe. Any glass shop can cut it for you. If you have a regular surface that you want to keep nice, I suggest that. It is an investment. It was a little bit pricey. I think mine was about $90 to have it cut, but I have a good sized desk that you can't even see in the picture. So check around with your glass company. Any local glass company should be able to cut it for you. And it was well worth the investment for me to protect my desk. And so that was what I chose, and I love it because I don't have to worry about my desk surface. I don't have to worry about embossing. I don't have to worry about paint. I don't have to worry about scratching, anything like that. So it really protects it well, and that has probably been my most favorite thing that I have done as far as for protecting my work surface. Secondly, what I do have is, you see this mat here. This is by Basil, and it's called a splat mat. And this is, I have it just kind of taped to my surface. This allows me to do any type of heat embossing. It can withstand heat, like a heat gun if you're doing embossing. It's also great. It's easy cleanup. If you get paint on it, you can actually just squeeze paint right on it and use it because it wipes up so easily. Glue, adhesive, anything like that. There's a few different options. This one is pretty good size. It's excuse me, it's like a 18, I think, or 23 by, I don't remember the size, but it's a good size one that covers, you can see it covers a lot in the camera. Then there's also these smaller ones. I do have these on hand too. You can get these also. I think Ranger has some, Basil has some, and these are just little brown ones that you probably see a lot of people use these. I keep this one taped on my desk, and then if I'm pulling something out and maybe just don't want to mess up this whole thing, or I'm working on top of a layout or something, I have these that I keep in my desk just to the right, to the side of me here, and I have different sizes that I can pull out and use. If you do a lot of painting, mixed media, embossing, things like that, I do suggest these because, and this is very inexpensive. This, you get started this size is a place to get started, and it's not very much. I think you can even find them at Michael's. But it's a great way to keep your surface protected, and it's easy cleanup, and I highly recommend. This one is called the Splat Mat. Like I said, it's by Basil, and these you can also get by Ranger, and so they're just like, I know they're called Splat Mat. I don't know what these are called by Ranger, but you can find them easily. So that is one thing that I recommend for protecting your work surface, along with the glass top. Again, like I said, the glass top, that's kind of more of an investment. It's just an option or something for you to think about if that's a concern for you. But if not, these are great. These mats work wonderfully. So I highly suggest investing in a splat mat. The next thing I want to cover, another important tool, is going to be a paper trimmer. If you're just getting started in scrapbooking, you're going to want to get a paper trimmer to be able to cut your papers, of course. And the market is flooded with paper cutters. You can find inexpensive up to, you know, $100. If you get into more of the industrial type, you can spend several $100s on a cutter. Personally, that's not where I want to spend my money. I don't want to spend my money on cutters. I want to spend it on products. Now, I have said before, this Fiskars is my go-to. And I've said before, it's probably not my favorite, but all in all of the paper trimmers that I've tried, this is the one I keep coming back to. I've tried many paper cutters. I've tried different brands. The Fiskars is always the one that I come back to. I think you can get this at Michael's for like $13 if you get a 40% off coupon. It's not very much at all. And it has an arm that swings out so you can measure up to 12 inches. I like this one. I do have the bigger one. But it's not my go-to because it's bulky, it's big. I love this one because I can pull it out and be able to cut easily. I can cut, you know, small things. I do like that it has the lines. Now this one does have the guide wire that helps show me on my paper. I don't know if you can see the little wire in there. That helps just show exactly where you're going to cut. One thing I will tell you, the only thing that I don't like is after a lot of use, this arm, I don't know if it gets hyperextended or what, but sometimes it can make the cutting a little bit crooked. So after a while, I kind of don't pay attention to that. I kind of like will line things up on the lines and make sure that the lines are, you know, are lined up here. And then you'll get a straight cut. I'm not super precise anyway in the type of scrapbooker I am. I'm kind of more like free, and you know, it doesn't have to be super precise unless it's a specific project that I'm working on. You know, but as far as just a good go-to trimmer, I suggest this one. It's not, you know, super sharp. I can run my thumb on it, but this is an older blade. Keep these blades replaceable, and they're not very much. I just keep a supply on hand. When it starts getting dull, you change it out real quick, and you're good to go. So I suggest this if you're just getting started. I do have a big desk, but I don't want to use real estate on my desk for a big paper cutter. I've looked at like I think it's the Cutter Pillar, and I love the thoughts of that, but it's just so big and bulky. I don't have space in my workspace to be able to put that. I didn't want to use my space that I have for a cutter. So this is my go-to. I will tell you, this one I do love too. It's smaller, so you can't do 12 by 12 paper. But if you're cutting photographs, if you're cutting 4 by 6 papers, this one's really nice because it is a guillotine. And so this is my second go-to. This is my first. It's not my favorite, like I said, but I have yet to find the perfect cutter. This is the one that I keep going back to, so that tells me that it must be working. So that's it for paper trimmers. And the next thing is I'm going to talk about scissors. And excuse me, I have a couple of scissors here. These are my personal favorites. I think you need a couple choices when it comes to scissors. You're going to need a small fine tip scissor, and these Fiskars are always, again, my go-to. You can see they're well used. I will tell you, I do love these Cutter Bee by EK Success. These are nice too because they do have a fine tip. So anything like this, a fine point, because when you're snipping threads, or if you're doing fussy cutting, which I don't do a lot of, but when you need a small, these are a small scissor. These are my, like I said, go-to. They're just right there, and they're what I grab first. So I suggest investing in a small, just a small tip scissor. And then I also have big scissors. These are Martha Stewart, and I love these things. If I'm cutting some big strips of paper that I'm just randomly cutting, if I need to do any bigger cut jobs, these are awesome. I do love that they have the sheath to protect it and to keep it in my little tool holder and keep from poking anything else. But I do love these scissors. I recommend these two. These two are my go-to scissors. When I go to reach for scissors, it's usually one of these two. And I have probably 10 pair of scissors, I'll be honest with you, in my tools. And these are always the go-tos that I use. So my personal favorites, just a small tip scissor, and then you're going to need a large scissor for cutting. So that's for scissors. And let's talk adhesives for a minute. Now, there's lots of different options in adhesives. Everybody has their favorites. If you talk to people or when you watch the videos, you're probably going to see some common things. You're going to see some people that love one kind, other people don't like it. So I'm going to give you my personal favorites. First of all, what I do use primarily is an ATG gun. You've probably seen these, and everybody's like, oh, they just look so big and bulky. And I used to use the small little runners, you know, like you have here, the little Tombow, which I love. They're handy and quick, but I was running out of them in no time. I mean, it was just, and these refills, I mean, they were like so expensive, and I was running out of them. I can tell you the ATG gun lasts, the adhesive lasts forever. You get a big roll of adhesive, excuse me, can't talk, adhesive, and it lasts so long. It looks bulky. It's really not once you just get used to it, use it a few times, it's really not that bulky. I just turn it upside down on my work surface like this. I actually have a little holder that it sets in, but usually I just toss it over to my side. But it's so economical. It does look big. It's not as compact, but for the value, I get so much more out of a roll of adhesive. And seriously, these rolls you can get replacement. I usually order them online, and they're usually like $3 or $4 for a roll. And you see how much more is on it than the replacements like in the smaller ones. So for me, this works for me. This is my go-to as far as a tape runner. Economical, lasts long, and it's just works great. And it has a great hold too, which I love. So that's first and foremost. If you've watched any of my videos, you see in almost every video I use my glue gun. I'm a fan of using a glue gun on my layouts. There's so many different embellishments. Some are heavy, and I just find that I kind of get impatient. I don't want to wait a long time to glue something and have to wait. I want to put it down and know it's down. This holds great for especially a lot of the bigger items, the bulkier items, the chipboards. You'll see even me use it. Once I get it hot, it's kind of like I'm just grabbing it and use it on just about everything. Typically, for the most part, I do not use it on photos. I will use my ATG directly on the paper behind the photo. And then if I do layering, I'll use my glue gun. Now, I can't say I've never used it on a photo because I think I have, but I've never had a problem with it. So that is my go-to. If you have a glue gun, I suggest you get it out and try it. Be very careful because some of the scrapbooking embellishments can be small and you don't want to burn your fingers, but I love, this is my go-to for adhesive other than photos, is my glue gun. I love my glue gun, and I keep glue sticks close by me. In any of my videos you'll see me using the glue gun because it is one I've used it for years on layouts and scrapbooking, and never had a problem with anything coming up, losing anything, and I just love it. It's just a cheap, this one's Martha Stewart, but you can find them for $3 or $4 at Walmart, these little tiny glue guns. And so if you haven't tried it, you might want to give it a try because it's one of my favorites for gluing down embellishments. Now, another thing that I do love as far as wet glue is a Scotch quick dry adhesive, and you've probably seen this talked about a lot on YouTube. A lot of scrapbookers do use this. Love this glue. However, I will tell you, I stopped using it for a while, even though I have these bottles, because I kept, like, I'd see them online and I'd order, it's like, oh, they have that tip. And then when I got it, it's not. They recently, I say, maybe end of last year, early this year, maybe before that, I don't remember, changed the tip. It used to have a small red tip, and I cut mine off because it got clogged. But it was a very fine tip, and if you've seen a lot of scrapbookers use it, and it has a red tip, that's probably an older bottle, because I have searched high and low every store in town I go to. I look, and I cannot find that bottle with the red tip anymore. I went so far as to contact Scotch because I felt so strongly about it. And basically I got an email saying that people loved it and they didn't have any intentions of changing it back, but thank you for your feedback. So this is just way too big. The tip is, the opening is huge. If you're gluing something like sequins or, you know, wood veneer where you don't want it to, goop through the openings, it's just huge. And I was so disappointed because it's one of my favorite glues. I mentioned it on one of my videos when I was doing a layout, and one of my followers, I wish I could find her name, but she recommended on Amazon, she sent me a link to these fine line applicator bottles. And these things are absolutely amazing, I have to tell you. What I did, she recommended these, is I ordered one of the, I ordered a package, you get 2 in a package, and they weren't that much. I don't even remember how much they were, but so I've still got one left. But what it's just a screw-on bottle. It was an empty bottle. But look at this. Look at this. I gotta show you this. It screws on. And how cool is that? Do you see that? It has like a needle that goes into that fine tip. So now, honestly, I do not have to worry about, I don't have to worry about it coming out too much. I was trying to find something. I'll just use my finger. If you see, it like never clogs, and look how, get in the camera, you see how fine that is? It's just amazing. So this has become one of my recent must-haves for scrapbooking tools, adhesives, as far as adhesives go. And you just have to get that back inside, which is not hard, and screw it on. And the needle's long, so it goes way down into the applicator, so it never clogs. I've never had it clogged. What I did was I just emptied the glue and squeezed it in here. And now I've got my Scotch Quick Dry adhesive, but in a much easier applicator bottle. So this is a must-have, and I'm sorry I cannot remember the name of the person that recommended that, but thank you if you're watching, because this is amazing. And so I'm a fan of this now. So as far as adhesives, first my ATG for photos, glue gun for some embellishments and pretty much anything else. If I need a wet glue, Scotch Quick Dry adhesive, but you gotta find a better applicator bottle. Some people I've seen use this on fine stuff. Personally, it's just it comes out too much, and I was making a mess. So I stopped using it for a while because I didn't like the tip on that. Okay, so that is it for my adhesives. Okay, now what we're going to talk about next is pens, because I get a lot of questions. What kind of pen do you use? And I am a pen, kind of like, I love pens. So I have a lot of them. However, my go-to pens when I am journaling are going to be one of two usually, and that's the American Crafts Precision Pen. I've tried a lot of pens, but I just love these. I love the way they write. Occasionally I will use a Sharpie if it's the first thing I grab, you know, these mini Sharpies with the fine tip. You can find these like the extra fine Sharpies. This is one that I got as a giveaway in Ellie's studio, but it's the same. It's a Sharpie, extra fine, and you can see that tip. These are great. I love these. But I do also love the precision pens. Now the precision pens come in 4 sizes. They come in a 8, an 08, which is the biggest. Let's see if you can see that. Which is the biggest tip. I don't use that very often because it's really big. And then they come in an 05, which is the next size down. That one is not as big. And then they come in an 03, which is my choice. I love the 03 tip because it's like fine, but it's not too fine to be scratchy. There is an 01, which personally is a little bit too fine for me, unless I have like a super small tag that I'm working on or something, and I need to write in a really fine place, then I'll grab the 01. So that is basically my choices for pens are the American Crafts Precision and the Sharpie. Those are my go-tos there. Okay, and then so next, try to speed this up here because I got a lot still to cover. Next, talking about a few tools this is one you're going to see a lot because everybody is jumped on the bandwagon with these things, and I have to say I love it too. I don't use a lot of stickers, but when I do, this is great. What this is, it's by EK Success, and it has, if I can get the lid off. And what you do, it's a powder tool, and so I'm sure you've seen them. You'll probably see a lot of them through the hop. Is if you want to use a sticker, sometimes I want to use it for placement, but it's sticky on the back, and I never place stickers usually directly on my layout. I usually, you know, put a pop dot on them or something. And what this, you just brush the back with powder, and it just removes the sticky residue, so then it becomes almost like a die cut. So that is pretty handy to have. It's by EK Success, and it's called, I think it's called just a powder tool. Another thing you probably see a lot is the Tim Holtz tiny attacher. I love it because it does little tiny staples. If I want to adhere something to a page, sometimes you just want something different. You don't want to, you know, use an adhesive. It's great to just staple it on there. It's great for attaching twine. You can do wood veneer, die cuts, anything like that. It's pretty powerful, pretty tough little thing. So tiny attacher is a go-to. A couple of my absolute go-tos that I use on just about every page. First of all is my Tweezer Bee tweezers. You can see I've used these babies because the little rubber thing is falling off. This is about my third pair, and they're very fine. I've had some others like the Making Memories, some of those that have a really, you know, they kind of are fat, have a fat tip. This is super fine and super sharp. So what I find is perfect when you're trying to adhere like sequins, or I use it for even adhering tiny, let me show you, tiny letters. These are the Studio Calico Color Theory alphas. And they're tiny. They're so tiny. With my fingers, I don't know that I could get them off. But you see how that just peels it right off, and it holds it, and it's easy to place. So I use this all the time for placing items, you know, where I don't want my fingers in the way and I want to place them just right. The Tweezer Bee tweezers are awesome, and you can get them at Michael's. Again, take advantage of those coupons. And then another tool that I use is the spatula. This is from my old Cricut set when I had a Cricut, and it's a spatula tool. I use this for everything. I love this little tool. I don't use it so much for my Cricut. I don't have a Cricut, I have a Silhouette, but this is great. You know, we do make mistakes. Not perfect, I take scrappers. And sometimes if I hear something down, the ATG is pretty, it's very strong. And so once it's down, it's pretty much down. However, if I take this little tool and I scrape behind, it will loosen that ATG because it's so thin, and it will loosen it where I can lift it up and I can remove it with very little damage to the background or whatever I'm removing it from. Sometimes no damage. If it is, it's just very little bit, and it doesn't matter because I'm covering up anyway. So this is great for any mishaps, or, you know, fixing things or removing things. I do use this a lot for layouts, not necessarily just for my Silhouette. One other thing is, if you're just starting out, one thing, tools that I recommend is to invest in some punches. If you're just starting out and you don't want to spend a lot of money to get started, punches are a great tool to have. I have a lot of punches, which I don't really use a lot anymore because I have a Silhouette, but I'll get into that. But for starting out, I recommend some punches. You can do a lot with a punch. I mean, even if you don't have embellishments, you can make nice edges. You can really do a lot of things with punches just by using strips. You can punch that and use the edge, the scalloped edge, and then you've got the dots, and now you've got confetti. You know, there's just so many different things that you can do with those. So if you're just starting out and you want something to make your pages a little bit more special, you can certainly check into some punches. Now, if you've been a long time scrapbooker and I know you've heard about the Silhouette. I actually have a Silhouette, and I absolutely love it because, let me show you something. You can cut, bear with me here. I've got a lot of, you can cut some pretty intricate designs that you couldn't cut with a punch, obviously. And what I do is I usually just go through and just cut up a bunch of them, keep them on file, keep them in a little drawer that I have. If I'm needing something special on a page, I just pull it out. So a cutter, if you're looking for a cutter and you want to invest, highly recommend a Silhouette because you can, you know, cut bigger pieces than you can with a punch. So punches for starting out. If you're looking for something and you want to invest into a Silhouette, I recommend the Silhouette Cameo. And then my last thing that I'm going to recommend today, and for a tool, this is we're talking about essential tools here, is what we're talking about. One thing that I am going to recommend, if you're looking, this little baby right here. Now, if you watch Nicole Jones 911, she did a whole thing on this. You can go back in her feed, and I highly recommend it. I've had a Canon Selfie now for probably a couple of years, and I have to say it is essential. It's an essential tool for me. I know it's not a tool in the form of a regular tool that you think of for scrapbooking. For me, it's an essential because I wouldn't be nearly ready to scrapbook. I'm not the type of person that uploads 100 photos, gets them printed at a lab and keeps them on file and goes, it's just not my thing. I just don't do that. For me, when I get inspired and want to do layout, I'm going through my phone. I'm finding pictures that I want to scrap right then. If it's an older picture on my computer, I can save it to my phone and print it from here, or I can print it straight from my computer. This takes a matter of 2 minutes and boom, I'm ready. I have my picture ready to go. I've printed some here. These are some that I have printed that I have ready to go. And there is a way to print square pictures. And if you're interested and you want me to do a tutorial on that, I'll be happy to do that, to learn how to print them square. It's very easy. But in this case, I've got pictures ready to go. If I mess up a picture, like I was saying, if I stuck it down, maybe I didn't want you to mess it up, it's no problem. I can print another one real easy. So I've got some ready to go. You can even do collages. Nicole does a lot of collages where she's got several pictures on one. So for me, this is an essential tool. Now I know it's not, like I said, a tool in the way that you think a scrapbooking tool, but for some people, if pictures are hindering you from the process and having those ready, because like if I get ready inspired and I have to upload my pictures, even to a lab that gets them done in an hour, I've lost it. You know, it's like I want to work right now. So this is a great tool. You can find these anywhere from $60 to $80, and it hooks to your Wi-Fi. You print directly from your phone. You can print from your computer. So for me, I know it's a little bit more pricey, but for me, this is an essential tool. So if you're wanting to get more information about that, I'd be happy to share any. And if you're looking for a way to get pictures easily, I know some of you may have heard about it, some may not. This is an awesome little tool. You can even put your SD card straight in here and print from your SD card if that's what you want to do. So that's my go-to. That's an essential tool for me. Okay, and so that's going to just about wrap up my tools. I've tried to go through real quick and give you a few of my favorites. Now here's what I want to do. We're also going to be sharing a video on style makers blog hop, and so we're going to have another video kind of just sharing you know, things that we like to use on layouts that make my style. So even though tools, you may see a lot of the same, on the Style Makers video hop, you may see something totally different than the other person because everybody has their own style. I have certain things that I like to use. And so we're going to be sharing that. Now what I'm going to do is I wanted to do a giveaway for my viewers. For anybody watching the video today, you don't have to subscribe. I'm not doing this as a way to get more subscribers. I don't want you to subscribe to my channel unless you like it and are going to enjoy it. So I'm not doing this for subscribers because you don't have to sub to my channel. All you need to do is leave a comment just so that I know that you watched it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be having a giveaway. And if you leave a comment on both videos, this one, the Essentials, and then also the Style Makers. And you'll have to leave a comment on both videos so that I know that you watch both. And that's what I'll do. I'll just compile whoever left a comment on both of those, and your name will go in and we'll do simple drawing. That's how we'll do it. But I did want to give a giveaway because I just so appreciate you and thank you for taking the time to watch. And there's so many on the blog hop that there's a lot of videos to get through. So what I want to do right now, everything's huge. December Daily, Christmas is coming up, the holidays are coming up. And so I just want to have a giveaway. I'm a huge fan of December Daily. This will be my 5th year doing them. And so I have some things that I wanted to just share with you and give away, maybe hopefully to help you get started if you haven't, or add to your stash that you're getting ready to do. So what I'm going to do in this giveaway is I have an October afternoon Mary book, and it has everything to make a mini album. It's got the Mary cutouts of the chipboard and the rings, so that's brand new. I have an Ellie's Studio. This is from last year, her Oh Christmas Tree wood veneer. Still brand new. I haven't used any pieces of that. I have an October afternoon flour sack that I'll throw in. October afternoon buttons. These are both from the holiday style. I have this package of bits from American Crafts. These were opened, but I think I used maybe 1 or 2. There's almost this whole package left. I just went through them all and they're like almost all here. I may have used 2, if any. I don't even know if I even used any. I don't remember. But I'm going to include this in there. I've also got 2 rolls of brand new American Crafts ribbon. One says Merry Christmas and another is trees. I have this fun little bag of confetti. I used this in my album this year to make a confetti pocket. Dropped it in there and sewed it up. So I'm going to include some of that for you. Also some cute little tags from Studio Calico, Happy Festivus. And then one with just little snowflakes, some craft tags, craft tags. And then also just a little bit of flair and buttons for you, chipboard buttons. These are from October afternoon. And then a flare. I don't know who that's from, to be honest with you. It came in the Studio Calico kit that I had. And so I'm going to throw those in just so you have a little bit. So, and you know what? I think I have some twine I'll probably throw in too because I have a lot of twine. So this is going to be my giveaway. It's just a little Christmas package giveaway. So if you leave a comment on both the videos, again, the essential tools and then also the style makers video, leave a message, leave a comment, and maybe just share with me what your favorite part of the video was. I think just share something about the video. I will compile those into a drawing, and what I will do is I will private message you through YouTube. So make sure that you're checking your YouTube messages, and I'll give it a week. This is going to be starting on Sunday the 30th, so I will give it until next Sunday, which I believe is the, I don't have the calendar, but I'll put it in the notes. But anyway, this posting is on November 30th, so we will run it till the next Sunday, which I believe is the 7th. Okay, so that about wraps it up. And again, thank you so much. Good luck to those of you leaving comments for the winning. And thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. And look in the notes below. I have the information on all of the stops on the video hop, so you can make sure that you visit all the others, because there's some fabulous inspiration. And I'm just thrilled to be asked to be involved. So I'm really excited. And thank you so much. Look forward to having you stop back again. Have a good day.